Welcome to Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcolm and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Reed, joined by my lovely, talented wife, Miss Southern Shell. Got Tyler on the boards. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Fantastic.
All right.
It is early in this week. Yeah,
we're getting this podcast in a little bit early because we're going to be at Memphis the remainder of the week.
Yep.
It's our big contest of the year. We look forward to this one every year because it's in our backyard. And I don't know if it's my favorite contest, but it's like a love-hate contest.
It is a love-hate.
Because there's so much work that goes into it. It's like no other. I mean, it's like we started on this months ago, practicing and getting everything lined out, and then you start actually like getting ready for the contest last weekend.
You have to get your application in before Christmas.
I think it
was November. Oh no, it's February.
February is the deadline to get in.
Yeah.
So
we
you're
applied before.
You're really
Christmas.
planning on it a while.
Before we talk about Memphis,
what do we got at housekeeping? I call it housekeeping.
Palmer Home Campaign.
Yes. The Palmer Home Campaign is kicking off. This is our Feed a Family campaign. We did this last year. It's where we just raise money pretty much all summer long, the whole barbecue grilling season. It runs, most people say Memorial Day to Labor Day, so that's when we run this. It's not really a contest. I guess it kind of is because we're going to do something special for the top 5 donors. But what we do is that we just raise money, take donations, and help out the Palmer Home. And they it's a local charity close to us. I know y'all have heard us talk about it, but it's here in Hernando. But they do a lot of great work with kids that really need some help. They need a good place where they can live and grow and go to school. And
they keep kids out of foster care.
Yeah, basically is what they do. And they try to place them back with their family too. That's the ultimate goal of them, to get them, when their families get back in a shape where they can go back, that's what happens. And so that's a great thing about it. But they're really important in these kids' lives and helping them, develop and just have a normal life instead of something crazy. And I think it's great for helping, some kids that are in need. And that's why we do it.
Yeah.
But
our goal is it costs about $20,000 to feed a family for a whole year, which a family is about 8 kids and 2 full-time parents.
Yeah.
So it takes about 20 kids, and last year we raised way more than $20,000 for them. So we're hoping to feed 2 families this year.
That'd be awesome.
That's our goal. And if our top 5 fundraisers are invited to the How to Barbecue Right headquarters, and we're doing a pig picking.
That'll be probably
what's a pig picking, Mount?
A pig picking is where you cook a whole hog and we just all eat on it for a whole, And usually, a pig picking's a big event. We're going to make it like a VIP event, so it's going to be a lot of pig. So
it's going to be less people.
But really, it's just going to be a fun time hanging out, talking barbecue, talking about whole hogs and all the other stuff we're cooking.
We'll have a lot of cool stuff.
A lot of refreshments, a lot of cool stuff. Maybe have some ball game on because it'll probably be in the fall. Usually when we do it, it's
November 5th is our date.
November 5th. All right. Weather should be good then.
But that'll kick off
Memorial season.
Yeah, that'll kick off Memorial Day weekend.
Yep.
So y'all check it out.
How do you
You can go to howtobbbqright.com/Palmer, PALMER, and you can find all the information there and get all the information on how you can become a fundraiser.
Yep, and no amount's too small.
Now we can move on.
Oh, we've.
Do you want to talk about your big win?
Not yet. I was going to mention before I forget. This is a contest coming up in August that we're kind of helping sponsor with. It's our friends over at Townsend Spice and Supply. They do a SCA steak cook-off contest in Melbourne, Arkansas. If you've never been there, it's a cool town. It's a real small town. They do it on a golf course there. And Shane and Lawson, the folks at Townsend, really, roll out the red carpet. It's a big steak cook-off event. But Melbourne's up close to the White River, which is world-famous trout waters for, trout fishing. And so the one little ancillary they're going to do, and I've never seen anybody do it, is a trout ancillary. So who can cook the best trout dish? It could be fried, grilled, steamed, baked, broiled, however you want to do it. But they're going to do that. So I thought that was cool, and we're going to help them with that event. And I just want to get the word out because I think the applications are probably up.
You can register now,
and it's paying out really good. So if you're doing if you're into steak cooking or you want to cook, see how your trout dish stands up.
Couldn't you enter just trout, or do you have to do steak and trout?
I don't know. know.
Okay.
I guess you could just do ancillary. I think you can do multiple entries in the trout too. Like if you had several dishes,
Yeah.
you could do that. But we'll be over there that weekend. It's going to be a fun time.
Melbourne, Arkansas on August 13th of this fall.
Yeah. So
for the first place steak is $2,500 payout.
Can't beat that for one steak. They provide the steaks to you. If you don't know anything about the SCA,
ancillary.
yeah, go check out the SCA.
$150 entry fee.
Yep. That's all it costs to get in, and pays out $2,500. How much does the trout pay out?
$500 for first place.
For first place fish,
$300.
they provide the trout too, so you don't have to bring. Now, if you want to practice, you're probably going to have to go catch you some trout.
I don't know
or
how you
buy them.
Can you?
I'm
source
sure it'll be
trout?
rainbow trout. Yeah, heck yeah, you can buy trout. But that's where that's going to be a fun event come August. We got all summer to think about it. But if you want to make sure you have a spot, go ahead and get your entry fees into that.
That's one of those that's fun because they do like a Friday night welcome party and have a band, and it's a lot of fun.
There's a great little restaurant there at the golf course. Where they got that cheese skirt burger. God, that's what I like going there just for that. This whole big piece of cheese, they melt all over it. And it just runs everywhere and it folds into like this big crispy cheese skirt, and you fold it up on the burger, and it's delicious.
It comes out on the plate like all big and skirted up.
Looking good.
I'm down.
Yeah.
It's worth going just for that. To get I mean, Melbourne's a small town. Shane in Lawson, the Townsend Supply has a cool store there.
It's one of those. There's not a lot of hotels around. You pretty much sleep in the trailer if you're sleeping.
Yeah, you bring there's Batesville, Arkansas is not too far away from there, so there's hotels there and
What's
stuff.
not
There's
too
cabins
far?
up on the river and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, they do have some cabins and stuff. What's not too far?
30 minutes maybe,
Okay.
if that. I don't even know if it's that far to Batesville. It's not too far to go for a one-day contest.
Speaking of contests,
Speaking of contest, Memphis and I. Is that what
I
we're
was
talking about today?
the Margarita contest.
Oh, the Margarita contest. Yeah, we did have a Cinco de Mayo Margarita inter-office contest. We had 10 entries here at work, and I mean, I don't know who won. Do you remember who won? I think an earpiece fell out.
Yeah.
You remember who
I
won,
remember
Shay?
who won.
Who won?
You won.
That's right. The Margarita King of Mississippi. I believe that's what the trophy said, didn't it? So Catfish King, Margarita King.
It says Margarita Champ.
Oh, it doesn't say King.
It says something. Doesn't it say Champ on
think
it?
so, yeah.
Yeah. Of Mississippi or just the Margarita?
Of How to
This is like one of
BBQ
those generic trophies you get on.
I don't know. It's not that generic. It's a margarita.
I got it in my office at my window, so if you come in, you could see it sitting there. Proud of my beverage award. I was trying to
what'd you
keep it
do?
simple.
Yeah.
So we make, and we're going to be making, I'm probably going to try to get Tyler to help me do a TikTok. Like if you can catch us making it at Memphis in May. But we make a drink called a bullfrog. And I don't know if this is like the original bullfrog recipe or it's one we've just made for 20 years. But I've been making this since college. And my buddy Eddie Reed had perfected it.
I agree.
He's probably made more than I have. But we make it every year at Memphis in May, and it's a summertime drink. So I basically took that recipe and converted it into a margarita just because I wanted something easy and didn't want to have to think about it. And
So
I
what did
didn't
that
know.
consist of?
So it was basically, I took a spin on it too because I charified it. The bullfrog normally is like this, I don't know, what would you say, sweet and sour, lemonade limeade kind of concoction
Yeah.
with Sprite and a ton of vodka.
Yeah.
So what I did is I substituted the vodka for tequila. We bought the same tequila for everybody. It was like 100% agave, Blanco tequila, white clear
Yeah,
tequila.
it's George Clooney's
Yeah,
tequila.
I don't know which one. I don't remember what it's called. But anyway, I took a 2-liter Sprite and put it in a pitcher. And then, it was a pretty big jug, I guess. And then I bought a frozen limeade concentrate and a frozen lemonade concentrate just from your freezer section at Kroger. Put both of those in there. And then I put 375 mils or, half a fifth, 1 pint, whatever you want to call it, of that tequila in there. And then I did a jar of Marciano cherries
With the juice or without?
with the juice.
How
Everything
big?
was in
Like
there.
big jar, little jar?
It wasn't giant, but I don't know. I mean, it was the size they have at Kroger with the bacon stuff. I don't know. They've only got
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 stemless cherries. I dumped that in there. It's probably 20 cherries. I don't know if it's 2 dozen, but it's close. Probably little cherries in there with the juice. And then I did about a shot glass worth or 2 ounces worth of just grenadine, and I stirred it all up and just kind of
No Sprite, no
2
water?
liter Sprite.
Okay,
2 liter Sprite. So it's Sprite, tequila, 2 lemonade concentrates, a jar of cherries, and some grenadine. That's all it is.
You pretty much
I mixed it up, and then I took like 4 limes and sliced them thin and just kind of floated them in it. I didn't juice them or anything, just let them kind of be in there with the cherries and served it over ice. And it's refreshing. It has a little sweetness, but you get the sourness and the lemon lime flavor in it. The Sprite kind of balances it out, so it's not like super, super sweet.
To me, that's a margarita
tequila,
punch.
You don't even know the tequila's in there. It's a big batch margarita.
Yeah.
And it was delicious.
It was
And
a
people didn't know it
margarita.
was mine because they probably wouldn't have voted for it.
I did.
Did you know it was mine?
So I remember-
you didn't vote for it, then, did you?
No, I did. And I
Oh.
stated directly, I was like, this is why this is so hard. Because I knew you were my first place and I knew Mark was my second place. And I was like,
Oh,
this
really?
is why I wish I didn't know what I knew. But then and Shell was like, well, I'm just trying to disconnect myself. I was like, you're right. I'm just going to go for it. So I voted
Yeah.
for you.
But yeah, so that's what I did, and it won.
Mark's was good. He had like a coconut cream in his.
Mm-hmm.
This was different.
Nobody did a
Yeah.
traditional margarita.
No, that was what was weird. I thought there'd be just some regular margaritas, but most of them were, I don't know, like strawberry or watermelon or cherry or something like that. Tyler, you went with like a jalapeno blueberry margarita, didn't you?
Yeah, it was like jalapeno infused blueberry lemonade margarita.
Okay.
And like, I think it was good. It was different. I don't know if I do the jalapenos again. I'm sure it would have been just as good without it. I think it added a little tang to the end of it and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I thought, there were some really good ones.
Yeah.
There was a bad one. I
yeah.
ain't naming names, but there was a real bad one.
There was 2 bad ones to me.
What was the other bad one? Mikey made one that was good, except his was stout.
Yeah.
Like it would light you up.
I liked his.
You did- Yours was good. You did a strawberry. What all did you do to it? You did
I googled strawberry margarita punch,
and just did that.
found a recipe, and went with it.
Okay.
It was
Jamie's was my favorite. He did a watermelon
I agree.
margarita, and it was just
smooth.
yeah, it was smooth. It had triple sec and tequila in it, so it was on the traditional sense that way, but it was made with like water. I think he made his own watermelon syrup, and then added that, and then had chunks of fresh watermelon floating in it, so it was super refreshing. And you didn't know how stout it was, but it was probably pretty stout.
And it didn't have a lot of that sweet and soury,
Yeah,
heartburny.
So that's
stuff
what gets
going
me on them, and I think that's like the Sprite helps with that on mine. It's
think
not
so, too.
super. It's not like using just a straight bottle.
Did you put any beer in
sweet and
yours?
sour? No, not at all. I mean, it was bullfrog with tequila and cherries. That's basically what it was.
I don't think anybody did the beer except for Mark. I think he had
I
Corona.
poured beer.
Dustin
you had
did in his.
Yeah.
Nice.
What?
Dustin did in his. It started like fermenting or something. It was really unique. It was frothy on top, but like purple frothy. He showed up with like a quart of blackberries and like pureed them, and then started mixing. It looked good before he added whatever he added. And then it just went to, I don't know, science experiment.
It happens.
It happens. The highlight of that day was the nachos to me. So we catered in. We ordered from La Siesta 2 different types of tacos, and they give you chips and salsa. We ordered like 2 trays of it was like chicken tacos and just regular old beef
Ground
tacos.
beef, yeah.
But you fired up the nacho machine.
I'm bringing the nacho machine to Memphis in
Are
May
you?
too.
Somebody asked in the community what brand nacho machine is that?
It's
Tyler,
a
did
Carnival
you-
King.
Was it right?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Carnival King?
I think I hit the right one. I looked it up and I was
It's,
like, that
it's
looks
whatever kind they have at carnivals or your local concession
Yeah.
stands at the
It
rec
is the
league
Carnival
ballpark.
King brand.
You cannot go wrong with it. How much is that thing? $200?
It was something like that.
It's the best $200.
It was a little more expensive. Like I was like,
for nachos. Yeah, I'm just
Are we really gonna use this?
man. There is nothing like nacho cheese on the
Best
fly.
investment.
You just walk up. You don't even have to get you. You just walk up with your one chip and just give it a little pump. You're ready. I think more people eat them that way than they do make a
Cheese.
tray of it.
Because your cheese gets cold, you
Yeah.
know, if you
Hot,
put it on your
warm
plate.
cheese.
Yeah.
But the thing, it comes with these little placards, and one of them, of course, says nacho cheese, but the other one says like strawberry or chocolate. So I guess people put other stuff in that machine
Yeah.
too.
It'll fit any number 10 can. Is
So-
what they call it.
Okay, so you think you could put like spaghetti sauce in there and make pasta?
As long as it was
Keep it-
thin enough,
yeah.
I guess.
Oh yeah, you could have like a meat sauce.
Yeah, it
just
couldn't be
have to
chunky.
Yeah, probably do Alfredo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alfredo
do
on
some-
the fly.
I mean, cheese is pretty thick. It's a thick sauce, so
I
it'll
need-
move a thick sauce, but it needs to be.
So I need to save the can, and that way I can wash it out and I can make my own nacho cheese and put it in there and
You
make it
could.
the way I want. And then you could dispense it, or you could use it for barbecue sauce. Just pour barbecue sauce in
You could.
the can and keep barbecue sauce warm. It's got all kinds of functions.
And it's really easy to clean up. You wouldn't
Yeah.
think it would be, but it's very easy.
Would chili go through it? I guess chili. If it had meat, it probably wouldn't go through it, would it?
No, you're gonna have to get your own nacho machine if you want to start.
Pumping chili.
Yeah.
Well, you know, at the convenience stores, they have chili and cheese and things like that.
I don't-
You want to do a chili cheese dog?
I think their chili's pretty.
Hormel.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a chili sauce. I think.
I don't know. We have to look into that.
Don't be messing up my. I can just see you and Mark
You
in the
put
kitchen.
pancake syrup in it for breakfast, like warm pancake syrup.
Let's talk Memphis in May.
Central Barbecue does use those for their sauce.
They
They
do.
had keep all three of theirs warm in that by their self-serve barbecue sauce station.
Their little dispensers are kind of smaller. They have a bunch of smaller ones.
Okay, same principle though.
But yeah, same
Open it
principle.
out.
And I tell you, getting that warm sauce makes a difference. I think.
Heck yeah, I love a warm barbecue sauce on it when I'm eating pulled pork. We used to do it with the crock, like this little triple crock pot, and you would keep all your sauces in that, and people could just get a little ladle and do it. But I like the self-serve pump option.
When we do last time we did a pig picking, we did that. We used the 3-compartment mini crock pots, and we had a white barbecue sauce, a vinegar sauce, and a tomato sauce.
So for the pig picking, we're just gonna have to load it up with vinegar sauce.
Heck no, we're gonna have nachos.
Oh, you have
cheese
nacho
in it.
cheese at the pig picking? Oh yeah, we might need to invest in another one of those machines. Why not?
So Memphis in May this weekend.
It is. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited. The weather's looking good. It's gonna be hot the first few days. Then we're looking like mid to upper 80s like Friday. Saturday we got a chance of some rain, which I don't mind.
Yeah.
The rain usually brings us some luck. If we can throw other people off their game, we're gonna be on point. So
We got a Big Ten
it ain't gonna
anyway.
phase
We'll be
us.
all right.
Yeah. But we rode down yesterday to check on things, and the park's starting to fill out. Tents are going up everywhere. Trailers are all in by now, and
Construction's
yeah,
happening.
construction's happening.
Somebody was building. It looked like the front of a hut onto the front of their.
I saw that. Yeah, like they're doing some
building.
serious construction.
Yeah.
Like they erected walls and a ceiling and everything.
Yeah.
So it's going.
They're probably going for the best bake
Best booth.
award.
Yeah, we're not going for that.
So
We're going for the best rib award.
that's the most important one.
Most important one. Yeah.
So I got some facts.
What kind of facts?
I know you don't want me to go too deep into the facts.
I don't mind facts.
I was going to tell you about how Memphis May started.
1978
Yep.
at the parking lot of the Orpheum, wasn't it?
Yep.
The foot of Bill Street there.
Who was the first winner?
I can't remember that lady's name. I've seen the picture 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It's her in front of the grill. She's got just ribs lined out on it, full and sauce and everything.
She's wearing a chef's hat.
Yeah. What's her name?
Bessie Louise Cathy.
Miss Bessie Cathy.
Somebody shared that in the community. Actually,
Yeah.
I saw that. That's awesome.
Started with 20 teams and $1,000 was
Isn't that
grant-
crazy?
It was the prize money.
I wonder who came up with doing it. Like, was it just restaurateurs down there, or did they just decide people
Well, somewhere
let's
in
do a
this,
rib contest? Did it have background like that in your facts?
well, in the 70s, they established the Memphis and May Foundation, and it was doing different events around Memphis at the time and promoting it and things like that. And towards the late 70s, they added the music festival and the barbecue festival.
Okay.
So,
And it's been going on ever since.
Yep.
It only missed a year. Wait a minute, it wasn't.
COVID,
I know COVID, but did it miss any earlier years than that? Did it say
I didn't see anything like that because we've been cooking it since early 2000s.
2006?
2006. Well, that'd be mid 2000s.
Yeah,
But you've been around and going to it
yeah.
since
as
the
a
early
kid, I
2000s.
remember Memphis in May. They used to have another big one. Was a cotton carnival. It was like a big festival downtown too.
That was one of the things that the Memphis and May used to promote.
Yeah, was the cotton carnival.
And the Danny
Thomas.
golf tournament was part of it as well.
Really, I didn't know that.
Back in the early days. In 1990, the Guinness Book of World Records bestowed the honor of the largest cooking contest in the world, Memphis and May.
Wow, that must have been. I mean, I guess
Prior
it
to
was bigger.
American Royal.
Yeah,
getting so
I don't
big.
know because American Royal's always been big, but maybe the Guinness never went there. I don't know. This is the largest pork cooking contest I know in the world because they consider it because we only do three. The main categories is rib, shoulder, and hog. So
Do you remember when Al Roker came?
I did.
and
Yeah,
entered a
yeah.
contest?
He used one of those old Willingham Wham cookers where you hang the ribs in them and they spin around on a carousel, kind of like horizontally instead of like a vertical spin like you would think.
Yeah.
I've still seen some of those cookers around. They're still around. He had the patent on that for. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know if it was
cooking over charcoal, right?
No, it was pellet grill.
Back then.
Yeah, he was one of the first that I ever heard of making a pellet grill. Now, I don't know if that was before the Traeger people or what, or who came out, who's credited with coming up with it. But Willingham had one a long time ago.
Where was he getting the pellets from? Was he using just
I don't
like
know.
furnace type pellets, I guess?
Yeah, I guess they had those cooking pellets,
Or
heat pellets for a while.
Heat
But
pellets.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting from over in Pine Bluff at Candy's place back then. I don't know. He may have made a pellet extruder. He had all kinds of like John Willingham was a brilliant man. He had all kinds of different patents and designs and things he was working on.
I remember when we first started cooking at Memphis, he had this big tent right up front.
Yeah, the red and white one.
Yeah,
we cooked beside him for several years there in Ribs, in his latter years.
So every year, Memphis salutes a different country. Japan was the first in 1977, and that idea was to bring the world to Memphis.
That's interesting.
I
didn't know they picked. Yeah, every year is a different country.
And typically in Memphis, if you want to win the best booth decorating or best T-shirt contest or all that stuff, you kind of have to incorporate the country.
Yep.
Guana is this year.
Guana.
So there's a lot of contests out there. You got American Royal, you got the Jack, you got the Houston Livestock Show. Yep. SEA's got the big event in Fort Worth for the steaks.
There used to be one, the DC barbecue battle, that was huge. And when Memphis and May dropped their sanctioning, like for the whole, all the contests like they did, they changed it to MBN after that. They still sanctioned one other contest, and it was that DC barbecue battle for a long time. Oh, really? They had two that was sanctioned, like Memphis and May.
Yeah. But they don't do that
I don't think
anymore.
they do that anymore. I think it's switched to probably KCBS rules now. I'm not 100% positive, but I think it did.
So out of all those contests, why is Memphis and May the one you do every year and the one you put so much effort into?
Because it's in my backyard. I grew up with it. And I love it. It's all pork. That's what real barbecue is. No, I think it's because it's such a big, it's more of a festival to me. It's got that party atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot of hard work. And in my later years, I have tried to take a back seat on some of that hard work and let some of the other guys step up. But I put my stripes in. But I think it's just a good time. I think it's, we look forward to it, for most of the year. Like after this weekend, we'll be like, screw this, we're not going to go back. But I think it's like every year it's like that. It takes a lot out of you. You usually have to recuperate. Yeah. But by the time in the summer's over, you're like, man, I can't wait to get back to Memphis and May. Maybe we can do a little better this year. And one thing is I've never like won the whole thing. If I ever won the whole thing, it'd be easy to say, well, I've done that. I'd probably still want to go and just hang out. That's kind of like my goal, like to win Memphis in May, to go back and you got to go back the second year.
And
just
do your victory lap. Yeah.
And then after that, just kind of be on a team, so I can do that. Yeah. Because there's so many people that are on a team, that you just put your dues in. Like most of these teams have $300 or $400. It might be $500 this year on teams. I don't know what it takes to join. But that gets you wristbands, and it usually gets you in the thing and all the food, all the beer, and everything you want without having to do any of the work.
No, it usually typically gives you the privilege to do the work.
Yeah, you get a privilege to do the work. But see, those are the young guys, the the newbies, the ones that don't know anything about it. They're the ones that are eager to get in there and be the trash man or be the be the overnight man, something like that. You're gonna do all the grunt work. The old heads like me now, we just want to kick back and enjoy it.
Run that finger.
But I do. So my job is going to be selling the barbecue.
So that's something else you got to do most of the time. So,
but I do have fun with it. I get to talk to a lot of people, meet a lot of people. I mean, that's what's fun to me. I mean, just seeing all the people that you don't see on a regular basis, because it's one time a year that all these people get together. It's not like we see them every week anymore. Used to in the contest when you're running schedule, you'd see a bunch of them, but here there'll be 300 plus teams.
So we entered our first year in the patio division, which is the backyard division, amateur division. Yep. In 2006, we won the amateur division at that time, so they forced us to go pro. That was the deal. Once you hit that, you go pro. And since then, we've cooked rib, shoulder, hog. We've entered all the different categories. And we've finished in every top 10 spot at some point or another, except for 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, except for 1, 2, or 3. I know. You don't have to remind me. I know. It's like hanging over my head.
We've got a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th.
This is our year. This is our year. I'd say that every year. This week is like you feel everybody's on top of it right now going in. It's like, oh, we got it figured out.
Yeah.
We've done practice. We tweaked our recipe a little bit. It's a little bit better than it was last time. It's all going to come together. We've got the booth set up the way we want it. The grill's there. You know, it's all coming together. It's looking like a win. We're going to pull off that 21st place horse.
Everybody's going to be singing a different tune come Sunday, though.
Yeah. We'll be robbed.
Yeah.
What's wrong with bad ribs?
Everybody gets robbed on Sunday.
Man, that cheated us. So it went for that blind box. Did all right on own side, but it wasn't that blind box. So got on a bad table. Must have been somebody else good on that table. There's always excuses you can make when you don't do it. Yeah. But it's not so. It is the biggest pork cooking contest, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes on with Memphis in May too, because it really it's going to start on Thursday as far as contests go, because they break it up. So they have we'll do tomato sauce, we'll do vinegar sauce, and we'll do mustard sauce on Thursday. And then we'll do hot wings and the turkey. What's the turkey deal? It's national. It's not National Turkey Federation. It's something like that though. They're sponsoring Memphis in May, and so usually there's some off different category. And this year it's going to be turkey. Was it turkey last year too?
Yeah, it's been turkey the past couple of years.
Yeah, they also did lamb, but I don't think they had Did they have a contest with the lamb?
No, they just had the Lamb Federation there passing out ribs if you wanted them.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Alliance Federation or Corporation or whatever.
We went.
They want people to eat turkeys, what it sounds like, more than on Thanksgiving. So they're giving everybody that joined up, they're actually providing you a whole turkey. I hope it's fresh, not froze. And then
that would be a problem.
And then I guess you turn it into go box. There's no on site on turkey, so you just have to come up with your best turkey dish and turn it in. Then Friday kicks off all the other ancillaries where we've got chicken or anything poultry, beef, seafood, or exotic, and that could be anything.
What are y'all turning in for exotic?
We're doing Kevin from the butcher shop in Pensacola sent us some awesome looking buffalo ribeyes.
We talked about this last week.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Well, they're the real deal. They are.
Yeah, Brian won last year, first place,
so
he's defending his title.
Was it first place last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Third
he
place.
tied for. It was a 3-way tie.
So
it was a coin flip, and he ended up with third.
Yeah, so he got third place.
Yeah, he had the score to be first.
Yeah, because they're all tied.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyway.
But this year, Mark's kind of taking the lead.
Yeah, we got Jay Craig coming from Outlaw Smokers to run the BFO. And Mark's been practicing on the ribs. We all kind of have input, but he's kind of the head guy on the ribs. And then Waylon's coming in to architect on the box, which is a rib box. You just cut the ribs, put them in. but I've got to sell them. That ain't no big deal either.
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about ribs when they're that good. So, I mean, that's why I say this is a guaranteed deal. It's cakewalk. It's cakewalk. All they got to do is put our name on the big check.
Just go ahead and crown them.
KILLERHOGS. Go ahead and crown them. You want to crown them? Crown them.
I think you're being so humble. I feel like
I'm trying to get these vibes out there. Man. This is my platform to talk.
There was one year I'd gotten really into manifesting. You know, like
I was manifesting in 07. Really into it. Thought I could wheel my way into anything.
I did. I thought I had like some secret.
Yeah.
So I was writing, champions on everything and trying to get Malcolm to.
At 9, I was trying to go to sleep, and he was like, champion. World champion. Like, what is that? Got me dreaming about it. Yeah, I woke up and got me dreaming about winning. It didn't work. You asked for a refund from that. I don't know what guru you
Deepak Chopra.
Yeah,
you got that from me.
Bought that program. That was a waste of money.
Anyway, so this year it's looking like a good year.
Yeah, I think so. Shaping up.
We're not on the river. We're on pavement. I have no problem with that.
Site's big.
Yeah, we got a lot bigger.
I think it's a lot more room because you're kind of in this place, the way they have it set up in Tiger Lane, you have like these little islands from the parking lot that kind of separate you from the other team. So you've got a 7-8 foot buffer. Yeah, because we're not slammed up on. A lot of times we're tent to tent, and you're right there. So that makes it. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say challenging, but it does make it a little more difficult. You got a whole group. You got a party team right beside you, and they're raging. And then you're over there trying to be serious and do good. Well, I mean, it might be us doing the rest.
It used to be. We've kind of toned it down a little.
Our neighbors last year were wild.
Heck yeah, they were doing like keg stands and drowning the guy.
What would they call it? Drowning the guy.
I call it drowning the guy.
What?
They put your head down in this big horse tub full of ice water, and then put you on a keg. It was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I don't remember if you took the shot before or after. I think it was like after you get dunked and then you have to take a shot or
did you do a keg
shotgun
stand?
A beer
then you got dunked and then you did a shot
know.
or
they tried to talk me into it. I was like, no, 12 of y'all to pick me up. I could be the one y'all break his neck in the horse trough.
It's on our TikTok if y'all want to see it. It was crazy.
I think that's what it was. You shotgun a beer, they turn you upside, dunk you, and then you do a shot.
Something like that. Oh, to be young again. Been days where I would have done that. Been first in line.
When I was writing all this down, I was thinking about the patio to Porkers division, which is the amateur division.
Oh, man. 2006 was probably my favorite year.
It's the most fun. You only get like a 10 by 10 spot.
Yeah, and you're sandwiched in there.
So everybody just spills out of their tent and parties in the street.
5 wristbands to get in, and we had like 100 people. And it turned it into a street party. And so they give it. You have ambassadors at Memphis MA, and usually they have like 4 teams, and they're the ones that are kind of the go between the contest. They let you know when your turn-ins are. They bring around your blind box containers, and they're volunteer positions. Well, in 2006, our ambassador got fired. They come looking for him. He was over in our booth, had his cowboy boots off, was like laid out in the middle of the place. He was puking on the curb the night before. It was just a great time. I mean,
no, the morning they came looking for him.
Fired from a volunteer position. How hard is that? I didn't know that could happen.
The time that
thanks, but no thanks, I guess.
Thanks, but no thanks. The time came looking for him.
He said, that's all right. I'm just going back to party with these guys. Yeah. We put him on the team after that. He hung out with us for years. He showed them.
Yeah, but that morning I was trying to like lay carpet, staple gun some carpet to the floor, and he was laid out in the middle of our booth. And I'd have to be like, all right, man, you got to roll a little bit this way. And I'd roll the carpet out and staple it, but like, all right, you can roll back.
Oh, it was so hot that year too. But man, it was fun.
There's several stories. Remember that time that guy got locked in the trailer overnight?
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one there. I don't know what. So we used to have a barbecue trailer. It was just basically a cargo trailer, but we took so much stuff down there, and we'd have to lock all our speakers and radio head units and trophies and computer we played the music on and all the booze. We'd lock all that stuff up at night. Well, somebody had went in there, I guess.
You left early. Left somebody with the keys.
Told them to whatever you do, lock the speakers, lock everything up, shut the trailer. There's no lights in there. I don't think there was.
I don't think so. It was just
maybe. But
empty cargo.
Apparently, somebody had went in there and passed out, and so he got locked up in there overnight. The next morning, we get there to cook ribs. We open up the trailer, and this guy just comes busting out like a caged animal, and like hurdles the fence, and is running down the street. And this is like at 6 a.m., And I'm like, who was that? We came in there, and the trailer had been on the show. He was in there in the pitch black dark, locked up with all this stuff. You can imagine what that was like. First of all, he's passed out, so he come to. He was in a box, pitch black dark. Don't know where he is. I mean, he could have been underground. He would have not known. There's no way. There's no way to know. There's no way.
You still don't know who he is.
To this day, we do not know who that was. And I bet they never came back to Memphis. It was like a hostage situation. We didn't even know it.
We essentially kidnapped somebody for a little
Pretty
bit.
much. At least detained them. At the very least, they were detained. But it probably did them good. Look, we could have saved a DUI. I mean, that guy apparently was in no shape to drive if he's willing to pass out. in the trailer.
My first thought was, we're going to find pee in here.
Guaranteed. I don't know what
I kept looking. I was like, nobody touch anything.
Oh, man.
So
that was hilarious. Another time, the guy decided to swim the river. Do you remember that? He jumped in and just swam by all the teams on Tallow Park, and then all of a sudden the Coast Guard's coming with him and catch him like down there climbing on a barge.
No, we saw him swim by this way, and then a few minutes later, we saw him come back in the back of a police.
Yeah, handcuffed. Coast Guard had him.
There's some crazy stories. Anyway, so if you're coming to Memphis in May as a spectator, you're just traveling tourist. What should you expect? And what should you bring anything?
So I don't know. I mean, yeah, you never know if you're going to need mud boots or tennis shoes.
You probably don't need mud boots.
Yeah, you're going to probably wear some.
You might need a poncho.
You want shorts and a light clothing, but bring a jacket. Probably want your rain jacket. Yeah. Bring some money. That's always money always works if you don't know anybody. I'm sure somebody will let you in. You slip them a little tip or something. But yeah, no, Memphis in May. It's a great like spectator or fan event because they do have a lot of stuff going on. There's different little tours you can take where they actually take you back behind the scenes on some teams and you get to eat some barbecue, or they'll have like these VIP tents or something you can pay to go in and try some barbecue, and there's great concessions there. But you have to know every team is really like a private party. And unless you know somebody, you're probably not going to get in. But there's a lot of people. I mean, like our team, people come up and talk to us all the time. And I mean, we ain't saying you'll come hang out with us all weekend, but we're usually very hospitable. Like somebody comes in and we're having lunch or we've got some food out, we're probably going to give you something. We're probably, answer questions, take pictures, all that stuff. We always do that. And I'm sure a lot of people do that. So it's not, it's just not like you may not get in the big name places, but somebody, you're going to make friends. If you're the type of person that makes friends, you're definitely going to make friends there. Yeah. And it's fun to see. I mean, it smells great. And I mean, Memphis is a cool town. So there's a lot to do. There's going to be, there's music this year. There's, different things going on. There's
they have
sauce wrestling, piggy idol contest to watch. I mean, there's a bunch of different stuff.
They've got several, like the Cooker's Caravan and different things you could sign up for. So, this week you smoked a Porterhouse.
I did on the drum.
I
did I remembered how good when we did a tomahawk?
Yeah.
And I did it on the drum, and it was kind of like just a smoked tomahawk. Yep. I was going for the same thing with this Porterhouse steak. Basic seasoning, little olive oil on the outside, hit it with a little prime beef and then a little steak rub, let it sit. Brought the drum up 275 where it likes to roll, and just throwed them on the grates and put a probe in the strip side of it, just center mass.
No grill grates.
No grill grates, just letting those meat juices drip down on the coals, getting that flavor. And I didn't throw any wood in it, but I used lump charcoal, so it got a real smoky. I mean, the drum just gives it flavor. It can't help it. It just gives it flavor.
Do you think if you would have added wood, it would have been too much?
No, but you can easy. I mean, a chunk or two would have been fine. Usually for something, steaks or something like that, I knew it wasn't going to be a very long cook. I didn't think it needed it, and I was getting enough from flavor from the lump. So,
and I've seen some guys throw in chips.
Yeah, you could throw chips in there, anything. I mean, it's still smoked and had a great, slightly smoky. I didn't want it like brisket smoke.
If you were going to throw any wood in there, what would you go? Hickory?
I probably would have a little pecan, something light, not too heavy. You get a little apple maybe or something. Cherry. It's a little bit for beef like that by itself. I probably wouldn't stay away from that. Hickory would be okay, but just a small piece of hickory because it can get a little strong.
Well, where'd you get those steaks? Where'd you source those steaks? Because they were some behemoths.
I got them from Steve, my man Steve at Kroger. He's in the butcher shop back there. If you go in Kroger and Hernando during the day, go see Steve. You can tell him, Malcolm said, come see you, Steve. He'll probably give you a shrimp or something. Like, try one of these shrimp. But, yeah, no, I got them from just straight out. I would say out of the meat case, but I went up there, and he was like, what do you need today? And I said, man, I'm looking for some, Porterhouse. I want a nice filet on the side. I want, decent thickness. And he said, well, I can do about 1.5 inches. And so he went back in the back and cut me 2.
They were big ones.
Yeah, and butchers don't do that all the time now, but if you start talking to them, a lot of times they will. I mean, and I guess it depends on when you hit them. If it's busy. The truck come in, they're probably not have time to go cut meat. But
they're Saturday at noon.
This was I usually catch them in the morning. It's my favorite time to go in there about 9:30. Gives them time to put all the meat out on the counter. They're stocked up for the day, and it's just a good time to go in there. So Monday or Tuesday at 9:30 in the morning, it's my favorite shopping time. It's not too crowded. You only have to dodge the people filling orders now. Yeah. That's the only thing. It's usually old ladies, people filling orders.
Usually the old ladies have already filtered out. They get there about 8. Yeah. 7:38. But by 9:30, they're filtered out.
If you wait till afternoon, you can hang it up. It's just jam-packed. But that's where I got them. They weren't anything special. Choice grade. Nice,
they look pretty.
Thick with a nice fillet. And I mean, the difference is, T-bone, Porterhouse, same steak. The Porterhouse just has more of that fillet in it. So as it tails off, you just get T-bones because the fillet's gone at that point.
Okay.
But that's why. There's still a little bit over there on a T-bone, but most of the time, if it's got the center mass of the fillet on it, it's the Porterhouse. It's all the strip on one side. So.
But it comes from the same cut. It's just different points in that.
That's right. Same loin. Oh.
Did you do any trimming?
No. I didn't. I left. It had some fat around the outside edge. I knew on that drum I wanted that fat to drip as it started heating up, melting, rendering. So I left it all on there. You could have trimmed. I could have trimmed some of it up and tied them up, but they didn't really need it. Yeah. I wasn't going for like this perfectly look. I just wanted that smokiness of the drum, the charriness from letting the flames kiss it. And that's really what I like about cooking a steak on a drum like that. Is like it's kind of like a reverse sear because I'm keeping it fairly low. 275 still low and slow, and you watch the internal temperature. I'll let it go to about 118. Then I took the lid off. Well, everybody knows if you take the lid off a drum, it's going to oxygenate and it's going to make that fire get hot. So at that point, I've got it raging, and so I cooked before I ever lit the grill or seasoned the steaks. We popped some bacon in the oven, like just a 12-ounce pack of Smithfield bacon. And kept all the renderings from it, the bacon tallow, bacon fat, all that goodness. So I poured that up in a bowl and I kind of divided it. It was probably half a cup of drippings.
Total?
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of divided it. So I had kind of a quarter cup, and then I'll tell you what I did with the other quarter here in a second. But I took those, once that steak got up to temperature, I started brushing it with the bacon drippings or bacon tallow. And just letting it kind of run off the side and drip down. And so it started making that fire kick up, because that grease was just making it flame. And that's what got the underside of the steak a little flavorized. And, man, it made it phenomenal. And I kept the probe in there so I could watch the temp. Yeah. And I would say I went to 128, which was medium, I would say, or it carried over to medium. I like it. Personally, I'd like to probably had it on the rare side. I could have took them off at 110 and started brushing them with the bacon fat and stopped them at about 120. And it'd probably been a little more rare, but it still looked good. I mean, up against the bone, it was still real rare. So a thick steak like that's a little tricky to do.
I think when it's so bright outside, it's hard to tell it done. Because I was looking at the pictures today, and this is unedited pictures.
Yeah, that's see to me
medium rare. Is
that medium rare to you?
I don't know.
It's close, but it's right in there. I wouldn't go no more than 130. Yeah. That's where about the temperature range you want to eat them at. But anywhere in that 120 to 130, you'll be fine. You just need to get some flames kicked up so it gets some of that sear action going. Now, I took them off and let them rest at that point, and that's when I topped them with the remainder of that bacon fat. But what I did while they were smoking, I took that bacon, the other quarter cup of bacon fat, melted a stick of butter, whipped them together, seasoned it with just a pinch more of the prime beef and the steak rub, and then slapped that in the refrigerator and let it kind of congeal back together. Butter and that bacon fat will just come together. And I tasted it. And I was like, man, this is like meat butter here. It's fantabulous. Bacony, buttery, and then seasoned up. So I put a big dollop of that on each of those steaks when I took them off the pit and just kind of let them sit there, and I just watched them. Mouth started watering, tongue was beating the back of my throat, and I cut it. The strip side was as tender as the fillet side. It was really melting in your mouth. And the best part was the drippings got on the board, and you just sopped it up. Right, and the rest of that butter that was in that pan, man, that was a way to cook a porterhouse.
I think so too. When you've got a really thick steak, when you're smoking it like that on that drum, it allows it to get even.
Yeah, it does cook
all
it. Yeah,
the
you don't
way.
get the gray and then then the doneness and then the hard gray. That's the good thing about having that distance between the coals and the gray, or reverse searing if you're doing it on another grill. You can do something similar like on a pellet grill or a regular smoker. Just start your steaks out on that and then move them over to where they can get some flame and do the same thing with the bacon fat. You do have to watch though. So on a drum, yes, the flames get to kick in and it's raging hot, and you don't want to do that for too long. It's going to really fireball, but it's not as hot or as dangerous as dangerous or flaming up as it would be on a Weber or a PK or something like that.
Yeah,
because you're so close to your coals there. I've still got 20-something inches.
If your flames are getting that high, you got a problem.
Yeah. And you can know. I don't know. Could you really tell in the video that there was flames kicking underneath? I mean, yeah. It's so bright outside that it was roaring. And then at that point, when I took those steaks off, I immediately put the lid back on, closed the vents, and killed it because I didn't want it to peg my grill out because it'll get smoked. I mean, if you just keep letting it go, it'll be flaming out the top eventually.
So, let me ask you a question. Could you have done that method with a like a half-inch steak? You
could. The time would be a lot faster. You could do it with any steak.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a lot faster. Like, I mean, it might not be on there in 15, 20 minutes to do the smoke part versus it was about 45, wasn't it, Tyler, I think?
Mm-hmm.
So would there even be a point if you're not going to get the smoke flavor?
I like the reverse searing thicker steaks. Anything that's like over an inch or so thick, I think it works better. If I'm cooking thin steaks, it's just hot and fast. Let them roll. But there's nothing wrong with putting any steak on there and getting it up to temp and then taking it off. A thinner steak, you probably would want to take it off and let it rest a little bit before you hit the sear with it, just to let it calm down a little bit.
So you don't overdo
it. So you don't overshoot it. I mean, at that point, you could even sear it in a cast iron skillet or something hot if you wanted to, and still get that smoky flavor from the grill, but get the ultimate crust by something like that, flat top or skillet or something. That'd be good. There's no duplicating that flavor that you get from that drum that's beet dripping down on those coals. That's why I say the drum gives you the best flavor just about on anything.
I will say that bacon tallow butter. Well, first of all, what makes it a tallow?
I just called it that. Beef
it's just
can have
a good
tallow
name.
So I mean,
you
rendered,
said people are probably gonna say stuff.
rendered pork fat is lard. Everybody knows that. Or bacon drippings, whatever you want to call it. Well, if you render beef fat, all of a sudden they change it to tallow. It's not beef lard. It's beef tallow. So I said, well, you know what? This is bacon tallow. It sounds fancier. So I called it bacon tallow. I mean, it could be whatever you want it to be. People are okay with bacon fat, but then they don't want beef fat. If you said, oh, man, put some beef fat on your brisket, people, but all of a sudden you say tallow, and it's a phenom. Everybody's got to do it.
It's the difference between mayonnaise and aioli.
yeah, exactly. It really is. There's no difference.
It's like a positive.
If you look up the definition, I think it says rendered fat. Like tallow is rendered fat.
Is it just rendered fat? Yeah. It's not specific to beef, though? You don't know.
I don't know that.
Yeah. But so when you take, how bacon fat kind of, when it congeals, it kind of gets this texture, like almost a grainy texture. It's not great. It's got a great flavor, but I'm not crazy.
Oh, when like at room temp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you mixed it with that butter and kind of whipped it together, you got
smooth it.
Yeah, you got the flavor of the bacon fat, the bacon tallow, and the creaminess of the butter.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, mixed with butter. I've never done that before.
Neither.
Man, it's so good.
That's genius.
I guarantee the beef tallow is just as good. Like some good brisket tallow rendered out on the smoker.
Oh, yeah.
And mix it with some butter. That's upper level stuff.
Let's take the two most unhealthiest stuff we got, mix them together.
That's right. And then add salt.
And dip our meat in
MSG. Let's make it even worse. Yep, that's years off your life.
Have you ever noticed that when you put butter onto steaks, when it's done, it almost kind of like washes the grill
look off?
Yeah,
it does. It just kind of puts a different look on it.
Yeah.
And once it sets, it kind of darkens back up some. But at first, you can tell. But I don't mind. I just want the meat juice. I want all that. That flavor's right there for the taking.
I have seen you before put the butter underneath a hot steak
and
let it melt that way.
Yep. And a lot of times at the SCA contest, when we're resting our steaks, if we put them like in foil pouch or something, and we'll put the butter underneath instead of on top, because you still get the flavor from it on the bottom. So when somebody bites into it, they taste that with their tongue first, but it doesn't do anything to your appearance. But There's just something about when I see it melting over it a lot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know it's gonna be good.
You know it's gonna be good.
I want that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great recipe. It's out.
Oh heck yeah, y'all need to try that one. That's a good Father's Day one. I saw a lot of good Mother's Day cooking on the community this past weekend. Man, people were posting all kinds of stuff. I saw turkeys and
Like cold turkey,
ribs, and all kinds of stuff. Meatloaf, a guy did. I don't know if that was specifically for Mother's Day, but there's some good looking stuff on there.
I didn't even have this on my notes, but you cooked for Mother's Day, kinda. I helped you, but what'd you cook Sunday?
I cooked
Per request,
barbecued grilled chicken sandwiches, and I took boneless, skinless thighs, and we marinated them just in some cheap Italian dressing, and fired up the Weber with like a 2-zone fire, and I started them out kind of on the cool side. As they started coming to the tip a little bit, I'd put them over there and sear them a little bit and flip them back over and just working them, and just threw together some vinegar sauce with a few other sauces we had open.
Yeah,
made a conglomeration of a sauce, and then basted them with that. And it's basically burn them up chicken. I mean, it's kind of what it does. It gets crunchy, it gets a little charry because you move it over to the side of the coals. It's boneless, skinless thighs, so you're not going to overcook it. But I took them to like 165. I didn't run them all the way up to 175. They're perfectly done and juicy.
But you glaze on the barbecue sauce.
And keep charring it on,
on the outside.
Char grilled chicken. That's basically what char grilled chicken thighs. And then, it makes a heck of a chicken sandwich.
Oh, it made the best chicken sandwich.
They're these soft brioche buns from Kroger, weren't they?
No, Aldi.
Aldi. Yeah, they're Aldi brioche buns. Man, they were like pillows.
I know.
And then with the little mayo and coleslaw and pickles and pickled red onions. That's
and
a heck of a
lettuce,
sandwich.
yeah.
That's a Mother's Day sandwich right there.
It was really, really good. So real quick, did you want to talk about the difference between comp barbecue and backyard barbecue?
I mean,
since we're talking about Memphis and I and
you just, to me, I don't.
What is the
we
difference?
Tune up comp style barbecue?
Are you going to cook Memphis and I style ribs
at home?
At home,
no. I'm cooking an eating rib, and that's the biggest difference to me. At backyard barbecue or barbecue you cook at home is usually you're cooking it to eat, to make a great meal off of, and you want to sit down and enjoy a rack of those ribs or whatever. If you're eating pork butts, you want to eat a big sandwich or make you some nachos or whatever you do with it. So now a brisket, I want to eat several slices of brisket, maybe some flat end, some point, and some of the ends. But when comp stuff, we're jazzing it up. I mean, it's to the 11s. We're putting all that flavor in a bite because we know that judges aren't going to eat all the meat that we put in there. They're just taking a bite of it, and you're trying to get the flavor, the texture, the tenderness, all perfect on it. And so it's just not the same as you would just, seasoning something and throw it on your grill at home. Or at least it is for me. That's the way I do it. Now, I mean, sometimes do you want to eat something like that at home? Maybe. But, I mean, we inject pork butts and we inject briskets and we do all this other stuff to them, and it's got a ton of butter and a ton of MSG and sauced up. And this is what's winning. So you got to kind of go with what's winning. You're not going to change the mindset of these judges all at once. So that's just what competition barbecue's gotten to. Same thing with steaks. Steaks have gotten way, like steak contest, nothing like a steak I would cook at home to eat. I mean, they're putting multiple layers of different seasonings on them and doing all this stuff to them. And it's just, to me, it's over the top steak.
Yeah.
But that judge is taking a plastic knife and fork and getting them a little bite of it and going on. So it's not like they're sitting there eating that whole ribeye. But when I cook a ribeye at home, I'm going to do my dangest to eat that whole big ribeye. So I want something that I like personally. And I guess that's the big thing too. At home, you're probably more likely to cook what you like versus what you think a judge likes or what's going to do better in a contest.
Because the rib that I want to eat at home is not going to win a contest.
That's right. And
that's and salt, pepper.
That's one of the big mistakes or misconceptions that people have when they go to do a barbecue contest. They've been told, or they've got it in their mindset that I cook great ribs this way, or I cook, this is how I do it at home. Everybody tells me it's great. I want to eat it like that, so I'm going to do it at this contest like that. Well, you lost because you're not cooking to what's winning or what those judges are used to having. You've got to get in that mindset for competition barbecue. It's two different things. It really is. It's a big difference in it.
It's a big, big difference in it.
Heck yeah.
So what do you think makes your ribs, these world champion ribs?
Oh man, the texture, the flavor, it's like nothing you've ever had. It's like just melts in your mouth, and they're packed full of juice, and they've got the right amount of smoke, and they've got the right balance and seasonings, and the salsas aren't, they have a sweet tone because it is Memphis style barbecue, but you still get the flavor that we put into these ribs and all the time it takes. That's what makes them so good.
We just got the.
Don't you want to try? Don't you want to try some?
Heck yeah, I'm there.
Aren't you ready?
I already know what they taste like.
But you want some. You started tasting them right there, didn't you? Before I even let you take a bite, you already know what these ribs are going to taste like and how good they're going to be. That's what I'm telling you. That's why these are the best.
I love it.
I think we're ready.
I'm ready. I'm 100. All I need is a good bourbon and Coke. I'm ready to roll. You got me some Bloody Mary mix ready?
I bought a bunch of different kinds of Bloody Mary mix. The guy at the liquor store taught me into 3 different kinds.
What all did you get? Anything I hadn't tried?
Old Bay.
Oh, the Old Bay has a Bloody Mary? I've tried the Old Bay hot sauce. It's pretty good.
What was the other one? Not Louisiana. What's another of those brands? Panola pepper? No, not Panola.
Tabasco?
No, not Tabasco.
You got me. I don't know.
Zatarans.
Okay, Zatarans.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a Bloody Mary mix either.
I think it was Zatarans. Anyway, we're gonna do a Bloody Mary tasting.
Okay, I'm down.
Oh,
for
and
that.
we got Dimitri's.
Yeah,
from the shop. So yeah. Oh, and a new brand called.
I like the Johnny's now. That's the one I like.
We got some Johnny's we're taking down there. Oh, I got to grab that out of the pantry. I've got a huge list that we've whittled down into a medium list to knock out. So that's what we're fixing to go do.
I can't wait. It is time.
We're going to have Bullfrog, Bloody Marys, barbecue.
Yeah.
The 3 Bs.
Y'all wish us some luck this weekend. We're going to need it.
Are we ready?
Oh, is there anything else you got today, Shell? You done got me ready to go to Memphis Bay now.
No, I'm
All right.
done.
Well, Tyler, do you want to throw in anything here?
Hey guys, make sure that if you are in Memphis May, start posting some pictures in the Facebook community.
That's right.
And
Tag us up.
Just a reminder, we do have that rib contest ending today at 5:00 if you're listening to this on Friday. So make sure you guys get your pictures in, get your votes in, and good luck.
Shell, where can they find us? Besides at Memphis May.
If you'd like to connect with Malcom, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram.
That's the main place. Or email.
Yeah. I made a resolution to post at least once a week, and I've done it like 3 times already. So,
well, you got a lot on your plate. Well, we appreciate y'all taking time out of your week hanging out with us. We will be back next week. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to tell you that we're world champs. We're going to give it our best, and we will see y'all then. We gone.